Well, I've arrived out on site. Now normally over there, that's where I would have my campfire. I would sit on that log over there, and but anybody that's followed my videos over the years will know that there's a tree I'm not very happy with, and it is that one. Look at the angle on that Lena now. She's leaning right over there. That's getting ready to come over. So normally I would set up a bit further down there, but that's right under the path of that tree, so I'm not going to tempt fate. I'm not going to do it. And there's also, I've noticed now, one this side that's also leaning that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up here. Should that one decide that today is the day it's going to fall over, I have a decent sized tree protecting me from there, so I will do that. It was quite the walk to get in here, I can tell you. Holy smokes, look at it, debris everywhere. This was a real pain in the ass to get in here, but either way I will get set up. I'm going to have my campfire here because I have two good escape routes here if anything decides it's coming down. So I'm going to set up my campsite here. I'm just going to move some of this dead wood out of here, and I think I might use this bank as my chair. So I brought a bunch of gear with me today, so let me get set up and let's get going. So, one thing I did see, I saw something in a video the other day, and I'm going to bring up this. I saw somebody the other day and they were clearing out big, tall, really tall, 40-50 foot dead trees, and they're pushing on them and pushing on them, trying to knock them over. Don't ever do that, because if you do that and the top breaks out of that tree, it's going to smack you in the head. It's not going to be fun. So I've got a small one here. Yeah, I could push it over, but it's also leaning against the big one, so I could be in trouble. So I have a saw. So this one right behind where I was going to be sitting is exactly what I was just talking about. Dead and rot. Now if you push on that, chances are you're going to have the top of that tree fall out on you. So what I'm actually going to do is just cut it off. I've got a saw with me, got a proper saw. Cut it off, and that wood will actually be the base of my fire. In actual fact, that one log will be most of my fire, I should think. So let me get that cut out of there, and for safety reasons, and we can go from there. As I was saying, what we got is that piece that was leaning over. It was leaning right over in the wrong spot. So I've dropped that piece, these bottom logs with the bits that were in it. There's a possibility that's going to come over. So I see people with these great big tall trees and they're pushing them and pushing them and pushing them. Well, that sets up a whipping action, and the top of one of these trees are 100+ feet tall. So if the top of one of those breaks out, smacks you in the head on the way down, you know, a 10-pound piece of wood falling 100 feet, it's going to do some damage. Right, so all that mess is going to be my firewood today. I'll get rid of that. As usual, I've built a fire base. Get it up out the snow. There is river rock under here. This is actually a riverbed, so in spring runoff this is actually just a river that runs through here, so I'm never too worried about what's under here. Nothing under here is going to burn, it's all rock. I have my usual fire still. Now in my last video I showed people this is the BPS Adventurer, and I have to say I've used this knife a couple of times now and it is an amazing knife. So I'm going to try it and see how well it throws sparks. So let's see what it does. Oh, really well apparently. Yeah, this is an amazing knife. I'm not going to sit there and talk about all the specs and this length of blade and that kind of steel and all that other stuff that people do. There's plenty of channels out there that do all that kind of stuff. They like to do the knife reviews and stuff. To me, I buy a knife because of what it is. What does it do? You know, I don't buy a knife because of somebody's name. I don't buy a knife because it was made here, there, or wherever. It, as always, secure your gear. Make sure your fire steel and that is back where it should be. Get a bit of heat going in here. This wood is all very wet and snowy, I'm afraid. This, I might have to play with this fire a bit, which is why I haven't done my usual typical upside down fire, because I think I'm going to have to play with this one a bit, get some heat in there. These sticks, they snap okay, but they're not very dry. Yeah. But you get enough heat in there, trust me, it'll burn. Put some of those in there. Yeah, this is all still a bit wet. Crack's pretty good, so it's dry inside, it's just the outside of the wood is wet. So I'll let that build up through, do its thing. Looks like it'll go. I think we got it. I think that'll go. So, like I say, get your fire off the ground. You can only dig out so much snow. I have a decent pile of firewood here now. By the time I'm done today, most of this will be gone. So, but it's all pretty. Yeah, it's not really good quality wood, but it'll burn. Yeah, yeah. So, let me get that going. Once I've got some decent heat in there, I can actually put out the chair, have a sit down. Job done. Let's let that do its thing. Right, fire is going. Get some heat in here. These are all the little branches that broke off as I was moving all this crap out of here. So they can all go on here. Will help get this fire going. Perfect. These are all the little bits that fell out of that tree when I started to move it. So we will get those on here. Don't want too much smoke. Now you will notice that I didn't bring my chair, but I did bring my tarp. Now a lot of people, when they're sitting around the campfire, blue sky there. A lot of people when they're sitting around the campfire, they will sit literally on the ground. But unfortunately, that sucks out a lot of heat out of your core. So you're actually better off to stay warm, insulate yourself from the ground, and it's actually a better way of doing it because you don't get so cold. But the thing that you do need to make sure that you are toasty warm is a good cup of tea. And it just so happens I have exactly that. Get the ice off the bottom of my tea, it will cool my tea down too fast. Right, so cheers people. First campfire on this site since year and a bit, I guess. This is tricky to get in here. There is so much deadfall in here. Like I say, I'm normally down there, but that tree has leaned over probably half again as much since I was here last, so I wouldn't be at all surprised to find that tree come down. The other advantage of kneeling is if I suddenly have to run, I can. Yeah. So it doesn't look too bad. I think we're going to be okay for stuff, but see how quickly, when we're in the middle of winter, we are surrounded by snow. But you look at how quick that stuff burns, eh? So the forest, although there's snow on the ground, there ain't much snow up in the trees. And always, before lighting a fire, always look up. Make sure there's no, what are called ladder fuel above you. Make sure there's nothing going to cause a fire and run up a tree. So the advantage of having a campfire in an area is you can soon clear out a lot of that small stuff, that's for sure. So, happy tea day. Yeah. Oh dear, oh that's nice and warm already. The temptation is always to sit on the ground, but not always the wisest thing you can do. Now, got to do a bit of a balancing act now. Balance my tea on there. Don't fall off. As I was saying just now, I bought this is the VPS Adventure, I'm not going to go into, I'm not one of these people that does, oh, this long and this is that long and it's made of this and made of that and all this kind of stuff, and then you'll see them in feather sticks and all that. I don't do all that crap. But, there's plenty of good channels out there that do. There's plenty of people that know way more about this stuff than I do. Please follow their channels and have a look. There's a guy called Evans in Wales, I can't remember what it's called, Rob Evans. He is a knife maker and he knows a huge amount about knives, so if you want to know about knives, look up Rob's channel. I can't remember what his channel's name is now. Rob Evans, anyway, he's in Wales and he is a professional knife maker. I'm not sure what his opinion of this knife would be, I don't know. I don't tend to worry too much about people's opinions of stuff. To me, it's what does it do for me? How good is it? And I can tell you now, bang for buck, it's bloody insane. It's absolutely brilliant. These things have been around for a few years. I only found out about them a little while ago, and I thought I'd buy one, and I bought one, as I mentioned the other day. The sheath I would have paid, this cost me $49.95 Canadian dollars, right? So whatever that is in American dollars, pounds, I don't know, no clue. But it cost me 50 bucks basically, and I would have paid 50 bucks for this sheath. Now I did put a hair elastic, you know, these loopy hair elastics that you get. I just put one of those on the fire steel, like a little bit of shock cord. Just push it through the loop, stick it on there, make sure it's nice and secure. If you're walking through the bush, you don't want to drag that on a belt and pull it out of there, because the time you need it, you don't want to have it missing. So, but this for a knife is bloody brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I put a bit of, now you see me now, you don't shock cord on there. I could have put a bit of camo cord on there to be more trendy with the bushcraft people, but no, I want to be able to see stuff. If I put that in the snow, drop it in the snow, I want to be able to see it. I don't want to lose a knife. I don't care if I pay 50 bucks for a knife or 500 bucks for a knife. I don't want to lose it, because people say to me, what's the best knife to have? And the best knife to have is the one you got with you. And this is a very, very capable knife. I love it. I think it's brilliant. Yeah, throws good sparks too though. Yeah. Right, let me put that away, finish up my tea, and just let that settle down in there a bit. See how quickly these flames rise though. So it's real important to make sure there's nothing going to burn above it. People always forget to look up, and most of the heat from this fire, very little of it comes this way, most of it goes that way. Yeah. You see people put up heat reflectors and all that kind of stuff. Does it reflect heat? Minimal, absolute minimal amount of heat is going to be reflected. But what a heat reflector does do very, very well is dry out your net slot of firewood. So I prefer to call those firewood dryers as opposed to heat reflectors. They're also very good with the wind too, because if you know what it's like, you sit next to a fire and the smoke always comes to you. That's because you're creating a low pressure zone. So if you have a quote fire reflector behind the fire, that creates a low spot, so the wind will tend to go that way and take all the smoke with it. So it dries your firewood, gets rid of your smoke. Does it reflect much heat? Not really, no, I don't think it does. So but it does dry your firewood good, that's for sure. Yeah. Oh dear, that is really good tea, if I say so myself. Not that I'm biased, because I'm the guy that made it, but that is bloody good tea. Right, let's put these away. I had to put my big boots on today to get in here, because I've got several layers on. I had to put my big boots on because the snow was pretty, and it's cold too. It's about -10 today, so it's actually warmed up. It was supposed to be -33. Yeah. Yesterday was supposed to be -33. It's not, so that's good. Yeah. Let's put that there. See, once you get a bit of heat in the fire, see, I mean, this has got snow on it. It'll go. Yeah. This stuff will burn good. But once I've got some good heat in there, I bought some of my usual sausage rolls, and I have a grapefruit as well. So all in all, it's a good day today. Now, I haven't come out to teach people huge amounts of stuff on bushcraft and stuff. This is basically just a rest and recuperation campfire, something that more people should do. I've mentioned that many times. Yeah. This is the difference with sitting by fire. There's now way more of me in contact with the ground, yeah. And before I hear any jokes of maybe go on a diet, I'm not exactly overweight, yeah. But there's now more of me in contact with the ground, so there's more potential for me to lose heat. If you're kneeling on the ground, you've only really got your toes and your knees on an insulated cover, so there's very little contact with the ground. The ways you're going to lose heat, put some of that on it. The ways that people lose heat is exposed skin. Like I say, it's -9, -10. Believe it or not, around here -10 is it's not actually cold. I have trouble explaining that to people because it's a very, very dry cold. This snow, it doesn't stick together. You can't make snowballs out of this stuff. You can make snowballs in spring and you can make snowballs just in fall, but other than that you can't make snowballs with this stuff. It just doesn't clump together. It's crap. The problem is also, if you need to melt this for water, you need to melt a lot of it. You know, you need, as I've done in one of my other videos there, you need on average about 3 or 4 pots of snow to actually get a reasonable amount of water to actually do anything with. So I always bring water with me as well. That's not a good sound. I have a search and rescue helicopter over there. I don't know if you can hear it on the video there, but there's actually a search and rescue helicopter over that way. I didn't see any conservation people on the way in, so who knows. Hopefully nobody's in trouble. And the object of today's exercise is to sit here and put wood on the fire. That is the sole purpose of my trip. So let's get some of these on here. This is good for your physical being. I can tell you, I've just walked a kilometre through that, as you saw in the video. Look at this crap. I mean, you walk a kilometre and a half through this, trust me, that's good exercise. That is really good exercise, because every single step that you take, you don't know whether that's a big hole, little hole, because it's all snow, you can't see it. Fortunately, I do know this forest fairly well. I know where the safe bits are in this forest, and more importantly, I know where the dangerous parts are. There are some big holes in here, and where the old river gorges used to run through. You step into one of those that's full of snow and it's still got water in the bottom, you can be in trouble, because then you need to dry yourself out, and like really, really, really fast. So I am gonna get this fire going, enjoy that, because that's what it's all about. I see loads and loads of bushcraft videos. There is a disturbing number of what I would call clickbait bushcraft videos, and a lot of them, I don't know what the correct phrase is, but I will just tell it as it is. A lot of them are bloody garbage. There's a lot of crap out there, and a lot of people have got into this kind of genre just to make videos for the sake of making a video, and you see them, same title, 3 days, overnight, solo, 1 tool, -30, nothing but flip-flops, you know, surrounded by wolves and got eaten by a bear, you know, the usual crap that you see in these titles. And they have the little clickbait, what do they call them, thumbnails. That's not what it's about. There are some very, very good channels out there. Xander over in Ontario, what's his name, Xander Bannock, he does some very good videos, and you can learn quite a lot from his videos. But it's one of the problems I find is when people see videos like that, they think they can just go out and do that. They've seen somebody else do it, they think they can go out and do it. You can't. You need to learn stuff. That guy knows his stuff, and he's been doing it a while, so he knows how to do this. Survival Russia and all these other people in the world. You know, there's some really, really good people, but there is a load of garbage out there. So read between the lines, people. Kind of learn what needs to be learned, but ignore the garbage. because a lot of that will get you into trouble. The young man out in Lapland there the other week, he got caught in a snowstorm. We can all get caught in snowstorms. That's why I'm super cautious where I go. I'm out here on my own. I don't have InReach and cell phones and all that other emergency stuff. I don't carry any of that. It's my way of thinking. If I get into trouble out here, and you know, that's my last day, that's my last day. That is a risk that I accept every time I come out here, which is why you'll always see me doing this. I'm always looking up in the trees, looking to see what's moving. More importantly, looking to see what's not moving. Making a bit of noise. That search and rescue is going around and around and around over there. I know the mountain over there pretty well. It's not really somewhere that this time of the year you don't tend to see too many people over there. I'll keep an eye on that. On the way back I might pop up that ridge on the way back. There's two ways I can go. I can go that way or that way on the way back. So if he carries on flying around, I might head up that way just to make sure it's all good. Yeah. But I don't hear any of the forestry and conservation people out here. So generally, if somebody goes missing, they're usually all out here somewhere. If you call for help around here, somebody's coming. They'll come and get you. Yeah. But I did see in the summer there was a woman up near Jasper somewhere hiking. She got very tired, so she decided she would call the emergency services. She hit her InReach because she didn't think she'd be able to get back. It wasn't an emergency, and I think she got a pretty hefty bill for doing that. So don't ever do that, people. You know, the emergency crews that come out and pick you up, Sardet people, they're putting their lives on the line to come and get you. So if you're hurt, absolutely, they'll come and get you. They'll fight through snowstorms, blizzards, whatever. They'll come and get you. Don't worry about it. If you send out a message, they're coming for you. But don't send out a message saying, hey, I'm just tired, I can't walk back. You know, tough. You know, you got out there, get yourself back. That's the rule, you know. It's out here, you know. It's 1.5 kilometers roughly back to where I need to be to get to somewhere safe. And it's another 1/2 kilometer beyond that to where I park my car. So if I had to, if shit hit the fan, I could literally get out of this forest on my hands and knees. I know the route. It would take me a very long time, but I could literally crawl out of here on my hands and knees. And worst case scenario, if it got really, really bad, these boots are waterproof. There is a creek down here. I could walk down most of that creek because there's very little water in it this time of the year. I'd need to get a fire going at the other end, but shit come to bust, I could walk down the creek as opposed to walking through the forest. Yes, I'd probably be a bit wet and in need of some decent warming up when I got there, but always know how you're going to get out of a situation. I know where I am, I know how to get out of here. There are people that know where I am. I've left GPS coordinates, exact GPS coordinates as to exactly where this spot is at home. So if I didn't turn up, somebody knows exactly where I am. And I have everything I need to spend 2 or 3 days here if I had to. So if I broke my leg, I could stay here. Rather than risking doing severe injuries, I could stay here if I had to. And I know that if I'm not home tonight, I know that all my details are there. Somebody's going to see it. They're going to go, oh, hang on a minute, why is he not back? And then they can contact people that I know, and they will know that I'm not back. And hey presto, they can phone the parks people and say, hey, this is exactly where he went. Do you want to check up on him? So always let somebody know where you're going. No matter how much you've been doing this stuff, and I've been doing this on and off for 50 years now. Doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. Make sure somebody knows where you're going. Right, I've let that fire die down a bit, so I'm going to stop rabbiting. I'm going to build this fire back up and go from there. Now we've got some heat in there. Put some good bits on. Right. Since it's I remember to bring my toasty fork. Since it's morning, I'm going to have morning sausage roll. Now, everybody knows that, follows my channels, that I love my sausage rolls. They are great to bring with you. Reason being is they're full of all kinds of yummy goodness, and also you can eat them hot or cold. But I can tell you now, they taste so much better when they're hot. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to heat this up. I've got a nice little patch of embers at the front here without too much flame. So let's warm that through. I'm not one of these people that likes to do what I call the outdoor cooking shows. You know, they've all got their steak and onions and all that kind of stuff. As I've mentioned many times in my other videos, anybody that's watched them, cooking steaks and onions and all that other good stuff out in the forest. Yeah, looks good on the video, and again that goes back to a lot of what I call some of the garbage channels. All you see them doing is cooking these ridiculous bloody great meals that in reality you're never going to take that crap with you. You're not going to, because it's very heavy. You really don't want to be taking all that stuff with you, but also it's putting out huge food smells into the forest. You know it's like if you cook bacon, or you walk past somewhere and you go, oh, bacon, onions, yeah, those smells they trigger an interest, and you really don't want to be doing that. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of those channels are just about making content. They're not about doing anything spectacular. That you don't really learn a lot from a lot of those channels. You learn how not to do it. That's about it. Like I say, there are some really good ones out there. Watch those, support those channels, because they're the people that really do put a lot of time and effort into it. There's a guy here, far north bushcraft. He's been doing it. Lanny, I think his name was, or Lenny. He's been doing it forever. Super knowledgeable guy, but he does live there. You know, he's not just somebody who goes out on a weekend because he's got nothing better to do to try and make a video to get a few likes and clicks and stuff. He does actually do it. I do these videos because I like to come out and do that. Before I had cameras, I used to come and do this stuff all the time. Like I say, I've been doing this for like 50 odd years, and I love it. I love doing this stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. More people should do it, because it's actually an incredibly relaxing day. Just in case you're wondering, I'm heating this through, just a bit of heat. Let it soak through, back in there again, bit of heat. If you leave it there, it'll just burn, so a little bit of heat. You want the heat to travel right through your food. I saw one the other day. Guy was cooking steak out in the middle of nowhere, and he'd basically just seared the outside of it, and the inside of it was still like dripping red. Well, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're cooking food, and you cook that kind of food, and you go down with food poisoning, trust me, you are in for a really bad trip. I saw somebody cooking a chicken the other day. Cooking a chicken on a fire like this, if you're going to cook a chicken, you don't just stick it on a stick like he did and stick it in the fire. Don't do that. If you're going to cook a chicken, make sure you cook it really well. And it's going to sound stupid, but take a meat thermometer with you, because you get food poisoning off chicken, that's somewhere you don't want to be. Yeah. Wrap it in tin foil, chuck it in the fire. This guy was, I think it was just more for a show than anything else. Oh, she's getting toasty warm. Oh yeah, that's good. So I got good heat through there now, so I know I don't have to worry too much about it. I got great heat. So if you look at the size of the fire that I've built, I haven't built a great big raging fire that you see these people built. Or if it's an overnight fire, they're building the Siberian log fire and all the rest of it. That's perfect. The Siberian fire is actually the best overnight fire that you can pretty much do. I've seen people do the 2-log version and what have you. I don't like that. It's I prefer the laws of physics. Laws of physics say 3 is more stable. So, yeah. I keep looking down there. You'll see me keep looking down that way. And the reason being, on the far bank over there, there's a creek here. On the far bank over there, you get a lot of deer walk through there. On that far bank, I've sat here before now, and they'll stop right down there through the trees, and they'll just sit there looking at you. Yeah. But also, if the deer are wandering down through there, you don't know what else is following the deer. So, yeah. Right, I think. Oh yeah. Let's try that. Oh, that is good. So that's the difference between warming it right through and or just heating the outside. That's hot. Oh, hot. Look at that. These are good food. They're cheap, they're easy to pack. You can eat them cold, so if you can't get a fire going, you can still get energy from your food. If you've got a big chunk of steak and you can't light a fire, you can't eat it. Not without severe problems. Yeah. These are all pre-cooked, ready to go. These boots do very well in the winter. I do tie on my spikes. I put a bit of cord through my spikes, through the bootlace, so that should this get snagged on something in deep snow, it gets ripped off my boot, it's actually attached to my shoelaces with this piece of cord. Yep. See this? I actually tie them on. The new ones actually come with a strap. So these are the original Catulas. These ones didn't come with a strap. That fire is putting off good heat. Like I say, it's about -9, -10 today. I think it's going up. I think it's going to be I think the high today is going to be about -2. So looking at that sun this afternoon, I think we could hit -2. Oh, we'll certainly take that. That helicopter's coming round again. Let's see what colour it is. Yeah, it looks like parts. Okay, that looks like a Robertson 44 or something very similar. So that comes over there. Maybe they're doing search and rescue training. It's the normal Sardet ones. They're not usually the Robinsons. I can't think what they call it. The one of the bells that they use for search and rescue. So they might have been doing search and rescue training. That might be why they're flying around the mountain. That most people aren't on this time of the year. Well, my fire, although it's not huge, is chucking off a massive amount of heat. So it's actually very nice sitting here. It's actually melting all the snow under here. Yep, so I will take that. I will stoke this fire up a little bit, get some more heat in the bottom there. Quick battery change. Now, one thing that I do, because I have a whole bunch of those batteries, is I'll make sure they're numbered. Otherwise you forget which one you've used and which one you haven't. So that will be my next bit of wood for the fire. Fire's been going a while now, which is good. So, as a reward for keeping a good fire going, I'm going to have another cup of tea. We've got some good blue sky. As Skahansky would say, the more you know, the less you carry. My version of that is the more tea I drink, the less I have to carry. So, cheers people. saying earlier, more people should come and do this kind of stuff, because it's actually very relaxing to sit by a fire, got nothing to do other than put some wood on the fire, have something to eat, watch the clouds. The clouds are drifting by. The forest is insanely quiet, which is unusual. Normally squirrels start going nuts. Once they notice people around, the squirrels start going nuts. They're always chirping and what have you, but it is cold. I'm glad I set up over here and not over that tree, because that one, yeah. I'm really surprised actually coming out here. I fully expected to come out here and find that tree down, which won't be a bad thing, because when that tree comes down, depending on how it breaks off, it will actually make a very good bridge across this creek. So it's good and bad and everything. Yeah. Oh dear. Yep. One of my logs under the bottom here that I had placed on the ground, there is now a 2-3 inch gap underneath, because it's melted all the snow. So that's the only thing this time of the year. You light a fire on the snow, your fire slowly sinks into the ground. So you've got to be very careful. I know under here, I'm not at all worried under here, because this is all rock. I know this is rock. I come down here quite often in the summer, so I'm not too worried about this. But if you're in an area in a forest and you just light a fire anywhere, you don't know what's underneath that. I've seen some very dodgy videos on YouTube there, bushcraft videos, and there was one, it was in a big open woodland, and the entire forest floor was covered in great big oak leaves. They were about this big, down in the States there somewhere, great big oak leaves, and they were all tinder dry. As he's walking on them, they're just crunching, and he lit a fire in the middle of that. Didn't scrape them all out, didn't get down to soil. That's just a recipe for disaster, that is. Yeah. It's my other site that I use, which is about 4 or 5 kilometres that way. I didn't walk there today because I was feeling lazy and the snow's deep, so I took the shortcut. I came to this one. I have numerous sites all over the mountains that I camp in regularly in the winter and stuff. Like I was saying the other week, I do public videos and I do private videos, and these public, I don't mind putting these out, but I do spend a lot of time out in the mountains, and that's my time. You know, it's my time away from everything and what have you. So, yeah, it's just nice to bring people along so they can see what I do on the weekends. And this is, what are we now, Monday, I think? Yeah, I'm not working this week, so I'm off, so I should be out in the mountains a lot. So I'm going to do quite a few videos this week. Oh, there ain't nothing nicer. Come and sit by a fire like this, middle of nowhere. Feed the fire. It's one of those primal things. It's something that, as human beings, we've all done for years and years and years. It's quite amazing. Those logs in the bottom there, they're only about this round. I say logs, they're only about this round. If I was building an overnight fire, I'd be cutting up some of these over here. They're this round, but it's not an overnight fire, so I ain't too worried. Something fell out of a tree. Yeah. So I'm just going to mention something that I haven't seen people do in videos, and it's something that's actually pretty important. It's called transitioning. How you transition a fire. Yeah. If you look at, something's not going to fall over. Always make sure your tea never falls over. If you look at this fire, yeah, it's a little fire. It's a hand warming fire. It's a feet warming fire. It's just something to sit around kind of fire. Now, if you had to suddenly stay here overnight, you can use what you've already got here as a base to start a fire. You'll notice that the logs that I've got here are running lengthways. No matter where I set up, if I'm going to be in a situation where I might have to spend the night, I don't run my logs this way. I always run them that way, the direction that I would sleep, because if I need to transition this fire, get out of it. Bloody wind's blowing snow out the trees. Yeah, it's blowing crap into my coffee. into my tea, sorry. Get out of it. Either way, right. So you need logs, decent sized logs, long, many as you can cut, basically. Whatever you think you're going to need. I hear all this, oh, cut twice as much, cut 3 times as much. Just cut enough, cut a lot. Yeah, it's better to have 10 logs too many than 1 log too short. So always cut lots and lots and lots. Make sure you've got a big stack of them, because if you're coming back out to a place, it doesn't matter if you use them this time or next time. It makes no difference. So that's what I'll do. I'll cut up in some of my other videos up over that way. You'll see that I have a good stash of logs put away, and the reason for that is very simple. So if I do find myself out there, like if I was out in the mountains and I happened to be out near there and the weather suddenly turned bad, I have places that I can go to that I know are safe, that I can build a decent shelter, and I know I'm good for overnight. If you're out in the middle of somewhere and you don't know that area, you know, make sure you stash stuff. Like all this stuff that's cut here, I'm not going to burn all that firewood today, but I will stack it up before I go to make sure that it's out the snow. You've seen how I lean them up in the trees. I will make sure that they're out the snow, so should I come back out here again or going past this area and weather turns bad, I need to stop and put up a shelter, I know I can, because I know I have a good stash of firewood. Would I camp here in bad weather? Not in this particular piece of forest, no. Because there's too many tall trees here with dead tops, and if they start going crazy in the wind, you don't want to be camping underneath that. Like I say, I saw a guy the other day swinging on a branch trying to knock it over, and I'm thinking, if the top of that breaks out, you know, that's going to hit you, that's going to hurt. Yeah. So always think safety, minimize your risk of exposure. Don't go hanging off the side of cliffs just to try and get a picture for Instagram. Don't do that crap. Just be sensible, you know. Remember, it's out here, the forest and the mountains, they don't care whether you live or die, they don't care. But the people you leave at home, they care. So it's always be safe. Whatever you're doing, be safe in what you're doing. Make sure you have your gear with you. I've got everything in my pack that I need. Spend the night if I have to. I've got more firewood here than I could possibly need, but if I suddenly had to spend the night out here, I wouldn't be doing it here. I'd head that way because I know there's a much better forest that way. So, yeah, got a big hole underneath the fire now. Yeah. Where my logs are, there's a hole about this deep underneath the fire now. Right down in, I can see with the rocks in the bottom there. Yeah. Before I can just poke all stuff underneath there now, so that's good. Gets rid of a lot of that. Yeah. So, who knows? So always be safe in what you're doing. Don't just rely on these videos that you see as being an accurate representation of what you can do. A lot of the people that you see doing stuff, Survival Russia, Zanderbanek, all these people, they've been doing it for years and years and years. They know what they're doing, and they have more importantly, they have the right gear to do it. I've got layers and layers and layers on today. I've got so many layers in here. I've got gloves in here, full of gloves, and my pockets are stuffed full of all kinds of goodies. So it's always make sure you know what you're doing. Yeah, don't just see these videos and think, oh, I can do that, because if things go wrong, then you can't, and then you're really in trouble. So, either way, I am going to have another sausage roll in a minute, and going to enjoy this. Fire's giving off huge amounts of heat. I'm actually going to have to move back a bit in a minute, because this fire is actually chucking off some really good heat now. So yeah, I shall have to move back in a mo, and I'll do a bit more video in a bit. Right, well, one sausage roll is good, but 2 sausage rolls is better, twice as yummy. Yeah, so again, I've let it die down just a little bit. Don't want too many flames. Let it die down a touch. Warm this through. Good way to spend the day, eh? Anybody that doesn't do this, I would challenge you to go out and do it. Get a group of friends together, go out somewhere, maybe not out in the middle of somewhere like this, because you know you want to be careful. You want to know what you're doing, but grab some friends, head out somewhere, even a day use area, somewhere like that. Quite a lot of my stuff you'll see I do in the day use areas, and if the weather's really bad. And the reason I do that is because in the day use areas, what you can't see in my videos is my car is literally parked right behind me, probably 30 feet away. And the reason I do that is if that weather suddenly turns really bad, or something bad happens, you get a, because air weather can be like this, and then suddenly the wind will change and all hell breaks loose. You know, in the summer you can have violent thunderstorms come through with hail the size of golf balls or bigger, and in the winter you can suddenly have a blizzard blow through, or the wind can change and it'll drop 15-20 degrees literally. It can go from, like I say, yesterday was supposed to be minus 33 in the forecast a few days ago, and yesterday I think it was about minus 10, so it went up 20 degrees in a day. So it can change really fast around here, so always be prepared for that. So in those day use areas, and that my car is always behind me, you can't see it, it's not in the video, but it's always there as a safety thing. If it's going to be minus 30, minus 40, I'm not going to head out in the middle of nowhere in minus 40, because yes, I have a lot of skills, and yes, I've been doing it a long time, but also nature will teach you harsh lessons really fast, and you'll be surprised how quickly, even with all the knowledge that you accumulate over the years, how quickly things can go wrong. And all it takes is one thing to go wrong, one trip, one broken ankle, one busted leg, whatever, you know. You lose something, you drop your pack, you lose your pack, God knows how, but imagine you lost your pack. On my kit belt here, I have, on this kit belt, I have everything I need to survive overnight. I have got shelter, I've got ways of processing wood, I've got water, bear spray, I have everything I need. So I have duplicates of everything. I have everything that's in my pack will keep me alive for days. Everything that's on my belt can keep me alive for days. So if I lost either one of those two things, I'm still covered. I still have a way of doing what I need to do. So just checking these. This boot's nice and warm. Yeah, that one's a little too warm actually. So always make sure you've got your gear with you. So go out with your friends, get a group of you together, get some firewood, head out, have a campfire. You can get these little cookie sticks. You can get these from Canadian Tire. I think when I bought this one it was like $3, something like that. Yeah. So get one, take it with you, go out, have a campfire, leave your phones at home. Yeah, take a camera with you if you want. If you want to take one phone with you, fine, whatever, take pictures. But leave your phones at home. Get away from all that crap. Yeah. You don't need to be in touch with somebody 365 days a year, you know. You just don't. So get away from all that, go out, have a campfire, sit there, take along, you know, some tea, coffee, s'mores, marshmallows, whatever you want, and just go out and do it, because you'll find that that is such an amazing thing to do, and it's something that a lot of people don't do anymore, you know, and they should. People now are just, they can't walk out their front door without their phone. I mean, it's almost like an addiction. And I have heard it referred to as an addiction. But I have to agree, it is pretty much. I know people that can't walk out their front door without their phone. It's like their world ended, you know. Nope, you don't need it. Leave it at home, go sit around a campfire. If you've got a beach somewhere, go have a beach party, you know, whatever. Just go out and do it. And do the stuff that we're used to. People are always saying, I keep hearing it over and over and over again, things aren't like what they used to be. Well, make it like it used to be. Leave your phone at home. Go out and do these social things together, you know. Go out just for a drive down some country roads and just go and look and just sit there, you know. Just get out and do it. You don't have to be connected to the world 365 days a year. Trust me, you don't. I don't even have a phone. I don't want a phone. I have no use for one whatsoever. Or I have use for a good hot sausage roll though, and that is hot. This fire is chucking off some really good heat now. So, yeah. Got another little pile of wood that's going to go on there in a second. I think that... Ooh, yeah, she done. That is actually almost too hot to handle. Let's put that there. is good. Mmm. These are spicy sausage rolls. I get these from my local co-op, and you get a 10-pack, and they work out about $1 something each. They're not much, and they're actually really good. Yeah. They're also insanely hot. So like I say, leave your phones at home, go outside, do stuff as a group. The whole social interaction of people seems to have fallen apart since the advent of phones. I see people sitting on a bench next to each other and they're texting each other backwards and forwards. Like, why? You're sitting next to somebody, talk to them. Leave your phone at home. Yeah. People always hanker after the good old days. There's no reason why you can't make it the good old days. Yeah. Slow life down. Life doesn't have to be lived at 900 miles an hour. Slow it down. You don't have to be doing 60,000 really exciting things all day long. Come and do this. It's actually very relaxing. This is if I later in life, if things work out, then I'd like to actually live out in the middle of nowhere, a little bit further out, and just move away from the city and stuff, and do a lot more of this. But you don't know what life is going to send you, what cards you're going to be dealt. So do it while you can. Don't leave it till one day, because one day may never come. Yeah. Oh, I'm actually going to have to move back from this fire, because this fire is now putting off so much heat. I actually need to move back a bit. Well, people who know me will know that I'm a great fan of grapefruits, and I've actually been able to get them. I went through a bit. I couldn't really get grapefruits. Well, I could get them, but not at a sensible price. And I sure as hell ain't paying rip-off prices for food. The price of food is high enough as it is without getting ripped off. So always make sure you sterilise your knife before putting it away. I'll leave that there for a second, because I might need to cut some more off of this. Now I do have a good hot fire with me, so I am going to chuck the peel in the fire, because it will burn by the time I leave, because I'm going to be here sometime yet. Normally anybody that watches my videos will know that I like to take all this stuff home with me. Don't chuck it in the bush, it doesn't belong out here. But I do have a good fire going, so I can actually burn that off. Oh, oh, oh. Grapefruit's good. This is good sugar food. If you're in the middle of nowhere, sausage rolls are good for energy. These are good sugar food. You don't need to be cooking onions and steaks. Trust me, just bring one of these along. Can't get much more relaxing than this. Yeah. That's actually the skin off the grapefruit flaring up in there. Like I say, very, very impressed with this knife. And that was a very good grapefruit. That's what happens if you lean over a fire. You create the windbreak and hey presto. It's full of smoke. Doesn't get much more relaxed, you know. Like I say, there can be a return to quote what people used to do in the olden days. All you have to do is just do it. Thought I heard something. Like I say, there is a place over here where deer do cross. That's the other reason for wearing the orange hat, because people do hunt through here as well. So always a good idea to make sure you're visible. Right, I think I've got enough fire going in there. I'm going to turn this camera off for a bit and just sit and enjoy this fire. Sure you don't want to sit and listen to me waffle on for a bit. So what I will do is you can sit and look at the fire for a bit. I'm going to warm my feet by it. It helps keep it nice and toasty warm. I am, however, going to pour out another cup of tea. People have asked me, how do I know when it's time to go home? Very simple really, I run out of tea. Once I run out of tea, I'm heading home. I don't mind being out in the mountains. These people. There you go, nice cup of tea. There's snow falling out this tree above me. The warm air from my fire is actually rising up the tree and causing it to move the branches a little bit. It's making it snow. See? As the heat rises, it heads up the tree and it snows. Right. Warm up by the fire, cup of tea. Doesn't get much better than that. So you can sit and look at the fire for a bit. you're probably fed up looking at my ugly mug, so you can sit and look at the fire. So. And that has to be the best way to spend a day. So I'm going to stop rabbiting. I'm going to call this the end of the video, I think. Thank you for coming along, listening to my ramblings, seeing what I do in the day. And as you can see, I've got some good firewood there. I'm going to burn through most of that, I should think, by the end of the day. Cloud is coming over a little touch. I do have some blue sky up there. I will definitely take that. I have snow falling out of the tree because of the thermals from the fire. I think I will call that it. Thank you very much for coming along.